G'day and welcome to Cuba de Rio. I'm Matt Soley, and this is a crazy final episode to our Nicaraguan adventures, full of music, crime and volcanoes. What a perfect mix. And this week we started our trip in Granada, a little delayed leaving Granada for a few events that occurred. You'll definitely find out later. And then I spent the entire remainder of the week on the fabulous island of Ometepe in the middle of Lake Nicaragua, just a few kilometers south of Granada. I was wondering if religious festivals could ever be joyous, and it turns out the Good Shepherd Festival can be. This is down the streets of Granada in Nicaragua, and unlike the Semana Santa processions, they do not have the sticks to hold up the power lines, and so these poor buggers had to lower the rather large float off their shoulders and hold it in their hands for a good 5 meters. Hilarious. Not something you'd expect to hear. I'm wandering around on a lake bed, and not just any lake bed, but the lake bed of the largest freshwater lake in Central America. Lake Nicaragua is 3 meters below its usual height, and around me is the strangest sight. I'm surrounded by boats that are stuck on land on their moorings, and that are surrounded by horses eating the grass that has grown around them. The rainy season failed last year, and in conjunction with the continual dredging of the Rio San Juan, which is in the sort of southeast corner of this lake, the lake's level has just continually dropped over the year, and it's causing major issues for the ferries. The ferry from Granada to Ometepe, which is the island we're on now, it is not running anymore because the massive 100-meter long wharf there is all dry and they can't dredge it out. And really the ferries had such issue getting in. There's a car ferry, and it's the first time I've ever seen a car ferry have to raise its ramp to get cars off the ferry. It's amazing. Anyway, we're on Ometepe, which is a figure-of-8 shaped island in the middle of Lake Nicaragua. As a tour guide described it the other day, it's the largest island in a freshwater lake in Central America, which is classic tour guide fact. As long as you limit the frame of reference, anything is a fact here in Central America. And there's 2 volcanoes, Concepcion and Maderas. Maderas has got a lagoon in its crater, and Concepcion is a rather large active volcano, which we're going to climb in a couple of days. We're at the house and studio of artist Jose Abel Vargas, and we found a fantastic little legend on the creation of Ometepe Island, which has indigenous roots. So here it goes. A long time ago in a developing country far away, Ometepe Island and Lake Nicaragua did not exist. Instead, there was only a broad valley called Coacapolca by the natives. The valley of Coacapolca was inhabited by various indigenous tribes such as Chorretegas and Nicaraguanos, Nargandanos, and Chontales. In the Nicaraguan tribe lived a beautiful princess called Ometepe. She had black eyes, long hair, and straight black hair. She was very charming. In the neighbouring tribe of the Nangandanos lived a young man called Nangrando, a stocky and athletic great warrior and good hunter. The tribes where the 2 youngsters lived were enemies to the death. One summer during the evening, the young Nangrando met the beautiful Ometepe in the valley, and the 2 fell in love at first sight. Ometepe and Nangrando continued seeing each other in secret, and in one of these secret meetings they were discovered by Ometepe's father. Ometepe's father became very angry and sent a group of hunters and warriors who pursued the lovers to capture Ometepe and kill Nangrando. The 2 lovers, knowing that their death was imminent, decided to take their own lives. When Ometepe and Nangrando took their lives, the sky darkened and a torrential downpour came down and formed Lake Nicaragua. Ometepe fell dead, and her breasts became the mountains on Concepcion and Maderas, the two volcanoes that are here on Ometepe, standing in the middle of the lake, and became our beautiful Ometepe Island. Nangrando fell farther north, became what is now known as Zapatera Island. The group of people that were chasing and hunting them drowned in the big flood and became the tiny islands of Granada and Soley. So there you have it. That's how Lake Nicaragua formed, and the story behind Central America's largest freshwater lake. And aside from Romeo and Juliet rip-offs, Abel's place has actually been quite interesting, as he's told us little snippets about the indigenous culture around here. And Ometepe Island was used by the indigenous of this lake as a burial site. And how the indigenous bury their dead in this area is fascinating. So they pop them in the ground in a normal grave for 7 years, and then after that the bodies are disinterred and then put in these they look like enormous clogs. They're these sort of porcelain bowls with sort of an elongated side on one of them, and they put the bones in these and then put a lid on the top, and then rebury the bones in these porcelain clogs. And as a location, this artist has got quite the inspiration across from him, because he's got about 50 metres of dry lake bed in front of his house, and then a view of one of the largest wind turbine farms in Nicaragua just on the other side of the lake there. So you've got the symptoms of climate change, and then the means of fixing it just over there. I quite like it. In terms of a thinking space, it's excellent. We're back on Ometepe's lake bed, and for a completely different reason than pontificating about climate change or anything like that nature. This day has led us from point to point. We started at the art gallery. The art gallery sent us to his mate down the road for a drink, and then the mate down the road sent us back to the lake bed to go explore, because there are thousands and thousands of artifacts of the indigenous people that lived here on Ometepe Island. You cannot walk for the amount of pottery that is just lying around on this exposed lake bed. And it's not all like broken. It's some of it. I don't know if you can hear that, but you can see rims of pots, and I've found like clear evidence of like people doing markings on these pots. Even with my untrained archaeological eye, I can see there's markings on the sides of these things. It's just a fun day hunting around the lake bed. And even here in front of me, I found a lovely bird's nest made out of shells and everything. It's that was not the bird's nest. That was a nearby shell. But it's just, there's so much to do on this lake bed. It was worthwhile that it's dried up, I believe. Certainly for treasure hunting, which is just as fun as it was when you were a kid. It's 6:25 in the morning, and no one should be as sweaty as I am now. We've been hiking since probably about 5:20 up La Concepcion, one of Ometepe's two volcanoes, and this is the biggest one. It's a mile high. It's 1.610 kilometers high, and it's active. So hopefully we might see some ash plumage, but hopefully nothing more severe than that. But we're coming through a nice banana plantation now, and it's been a very, very dry hike up, covered with capuchin monkeys, howlers, and lovely blue jays, which are my favourite bird here throughout Central America. They're gorgeous, sort of, I don't know, cockatoo knockoffs. And if we're lucky, I'm coming up to a capuchin monkey. Just jumping through the tops of the trees here, about 2 meters from me. This place is wild. And as we go higher, we start getting a taste of the famous wind that whips around Concepcion every day. Like, we had a friend that went up Concepcion yesterday and was clinging onto rocks at the top but we're still only halfway there, and we're protected by these stunted trees and clouds of butterflies that are flying all around us at the moment. So it's just been brilliant. We've seen Hollywood's favourite monkeys, howlers, and now we're guarded by butterflies. Woo! We made it! And I'm lying on the floor. I've never done a podcast lying down, but as you see, the wind is ridiculous up here, and this is the only refuge. We've got to the top, and we're looking down into a 150 metre wide active crater. It's got so many mineral colours in it, and the clouds are just glaciating around us. The wind is insane and nearly blew me off the ridge coming up here. How cool is that view, man?
Holy fuck.
Oh, so good. Well done.
Insane.
¿Quieres resolver el problema, sí o no? Entonces, ¿a quién puta vas a traer?
No, pero igual como es que está bien, fue lo que te diga, lo que te haga yo voy a hacer.
No, es que espérate. Te vuelvo a repetir.
Intimidation, bullying, and a maze of bureaucratic bullshit. That has been my life for the last 36 hours. The night just before I climbed Mount Concepcion, my phone was stolen from my bag as I slept in a hammock. And I've been dealing with the Moyogalpa police force for the last 36 hours just to get a report done so I can contact my insurance company. But these people are the worst. The officers were just like, they treated you like scum. None of them wanted to work. I turned up at least 5 times to the office today, and a couple of them were just sitting out in the front. They're either sitting out in front or on the beds that are inside. It was just an amazing workplace, and they were sat out front, and I came around the corner as I had done previously, and they were like, the police office is closed, trying to get rid of me. It was insane, the amount of loops and hoops I had to jump through. I had to wake up my poor family at 3 in the morning back home just to get receipts and stuff out of them, because I knew if I didn't get it now, I would be stuck in Moyogalpa for even longer than I have been. I've already had to stay an extra night here. But after all that, the captain of the police, Jefe Jose Pasos, ended up getting me my little report, and has we got the job done. And I hated myself for it, because I've despised all of these people for the last 24 hours. And when I was sitting there in his office, knowing this bloke had worked 12, 13 hours to this point, and basically their inefficiency in that office means that everyone that walks in there fucking ends up yelling at them. And I saw so many people yelling at these same police officers all day. It was very satisfying at the time, but now in retrospect, these poor buggers have a thoroughly unglamorous job. And while I might not be able to listen to my podcast for the rest of the trip, these poor buggers have to go back to that same shitty job tomorrow, and I don't. Quiet lapping of water at Playa Palita, and I've been having an interesting discussion with the artistic community here on this side of Ometepe. The north side of Ometepe is the hippie side. And we're talking about what everyone on Ometepe talks about is the canal. And now you might remember that it was the Americans that first wanted to build the Atlantic Pacific Canal here in Nicaragua back in the early 1900s. But after they succeeded in getting Panama off Colombia's hands, they built it there instead. And so this canal idea has been just laying dormant for the last 100 years, but now the Chinese have reinvigorated it. And there's a huge company called HKND, and they are willing to build the $50 billion project, joining the Pacific to this lake, and then running the cargo through this lake, and then down at the Rio San Juan. The issue with that is that one, they'll have to dredge the Rio San Juan so that more water will leave Lake Nicaragua, possibly leading to the lake's level dropping further. Secondly, if they do dam the Rio San Juan, there's major ecological issues with that. And then thirdly is that the Rio San Juan, its entire northern border, is one of the largest indigenous reserves of Central America, and so the indigenous people are getting completely overrun in the Nicaraguan government's hurry to get this project done. And so there was a little stallage last year because the Chinese man that runs HK&D lost all his money in the Shanghai crash in late 2015. But sadly, it seems like the Nicaraguan government is set on getting this project done. And even last week, a petition of 28,000 was rejected as a citizen's bill. In Nicaragua, you only need 5,000 stamped signatures to get a citizen's bill considered by the parliament. This petition had 7,000, and still they rejected it and didn't even debate the matter. And so it looks like Nicaragua's future is sealed under the FSLN. That's the ruling party at the moment here. And it's interesting that the hypocrisy that they take Sandino's name for their party. It's the Sandino's National Liberation Front, remember? And Sandino fought and lost his life to keep the Americans out of Nicaragua. But it seems like the party that has taken his name is doing everything they can to maintain, to keep the Chinese involved in this project here that will potentially ruin their largest freshwater lake and the lives of the communities around it. Yet another volcano day. This time it's only the wee 1400 meter Volcan Maderas, which has a crater laguna at the top of it. And I'm hiking not with the beardless Tom from episode 12, but with the stabbed Francois and Guillaume from the last episode. So Ometepe Island has been brilliant for bringing all the different people I've enjoyed travelling with together, and then hiking volcanoes with them, as you do in Nicaragua. It's excellent. 5:30 in the morning, by the way, hence the early hour. The soft pitter-patter of rain, or is it? It is not. The circulation on this mountain is just so impressive. Volcan Concepcion, while being an active volcano, does not have the amount of moisture that this one has, and so it's gone from full-on dry tropical forest down the base of this mountain to a very well-functioning cloud forest, and that means that it might not be raining here, but the trees and plants here are adept at capturing and condensing the moisture from the clouds that are passing past me now and turning it into droplets of water which are falling all around me and creating mud. For the first time since Pico Turquino, I'm walking in mud, and so it's been 3 months, mud. I missed you, and so have my boots. They're sick of volcanic ash. But yeah, so it means that we've seen so many different kinds of wildlife, even frogs now. Like, you take a big step in this on this path, and like 3 or 4 tiny, like 2 centimeter long frogs will hop out of the way, leaving sprays in their wake. I'm not sure if they're poisonous or anything of that nature, but they are all spraying as they jump away, which I don't know. It could be an indication of that. But the hike itself is pretty grueling. It's just long, and there's big rocks that will try and make you break your ankles. Whereas Concepcion was just steep and tough, but this one's really dragging out, and we're sweating like pigs. Well, we made it. We're at the crater lake, and it's one of those weird moments of the podcast where you can see as much as I can, because there's a lot of mist up here, and I've got about 6 meters visibility around me. But what I can see is some lake reeds, and beyond that, a stretch of mud that is covered in little frogs. And then the lake itself, which I reckon would probably be about 75 meters in diameter. But it is pretty darn dry, just like the poor lake Nicaragua, a couple of 1,000 meters beneath us. The hike was well worth it, a bit grueling, but for the amount of wildlife we saw along the way, it was so good to get up at the time that we did, while everything was active before the real heat of the day. And the night before I leave for Costa Rica, the dry season broke with the first big storm of the wet season, which is great for this parched area of Nicaragua, but not so great for the rest of the trip south, because it means there will be rain every day from now on. And the keen-eared amongst you there will definitely recognise the voice of Tom Bowering up there on the top of Volcan Concepcion. He climbed that volcano with me, and he'd just been to San Juan del Sur, which is like the Cancun of Nicaragua, but even more sinful. It just seemed like a crazy party-fueled place that stole his beard. That's how crazy it gets. So yeah, thankfully though, the guys that I'm with this week are a chill bunch of French Canadians, and we dropped in on a little session of Tourists Anonymous.
My name is Guillaume. I'm from Quebec City. I'm traveling since 2 months. Yeah, what crime? Man, there's a bunch of it, but I mean, I didn't been robbed or something, but a lot of person have been around us. I mean, you too.
Hi, I'm Matt. My phone was stolen this week.
Yeah.
And I actually haven't said anything about you, so you get to introduce your own.
Alright, so my name is François, and I've been backstabbed right in front of my hostel 1 week ago.
1 week ago today, and you're still climbing volcanoes, mind you.
Yeah, right,
which
exactly.
is super awesome. Like, so how was the recovery from that?
It was good, a good recovery. I mean, considering I had a knife in my back, I think it was not that bad. It only went through skin and muscles. So
which is like 2 of the 3 ingredients of humans.
Yeah.
You're only missing bone. It only went through skin and muscle
and lungs. Yeah, no, I mean it was not that bad considering I had a knife in my skin.
Yeah, but how much blood you lost, you think, later? Or?
Yeah, I did lost a lot of blood though. I almost fainted at the hospital. Well, maybe we could start from the beginning with the story.
Go for it. It's yours to tell.
Yeah, like, I've been doing the broadcast with Matt last week as well.
12 hours before the incident. T-minus 12 hours.
Exactly, right after we had this wonderful day on the Mombacho volcano. And then what happens next later? Well, I was playing music in the park with my friend Guillaume here. We are both musicians, and we were playing, and then some girls came by and were listening to us, and then another guy came. So we had an audience, you know, like people were just coming around to listen to our music. And we had a lot of fun, and then we decided to go out. Well, actually, Guillaume didn't. Guillaume went back to his hostel by midnight, and I went out dancing.
Best decision of the night.
No, maybe not. Man.
Best decision of the night.
I don't think so, man.
And I stood longer. We went dancing in the street. There were some awesome music orchestra, and then when I decided to get back to my hostel, it was 2:30 in the morning. So there were not much people in the street except like from the main area of the city around the bar. So I get ahead toward my hostel, and it was a 10-minute walk, and then I got right into the front door of my hostel, and it was locked. So I had to call the guy inside to open it, and then I was calling and waiting for somebody to call. And that's where I got backstabbed. Like I didn't.
Quebec stabbed, please. When it's talking about you, it's Quebec stabbed.
Quebec stabbed, yeah, I've been Quebec stabbed. No, I mean like
French Canadian stabbing.
Yeah, done by some Latinos burglars. So I didn't hear them coming in my back. Like I just hear like 2, 3 footsteps, and then I feel. At first I thought it was a punch in my back actually, and I fell on the ground. I had my face scratching all around, over the fence of the of the door, and then collapsed to the ground, and then turned around and then tried to. I saw there were 2 guys, and then I tried to put myself on my feet, and then one of them knocked me in the face with his knee, and then I fell there again on the ground, and then I saw one of them was holding a knife, and well, I really saw in his eyes that he was going to kill me, and I had to get the fuck out of there. And I couldn't move very easily because I had this guitar in my back. It's a small size guitar. It's a traveling guitar, backpack in Martin, if you want to Google that. So I threw the guitar on the ground, and then stand up and started to run as fast as I could. And the 2 burglars took the guitar and started running the other way. And well, I saw them like turning. I looked back to just to make sure they were not following me, and they were not. So I stopped, and then I feel the blood dripping on my legs, and then I realized that I was actually been stabbed. Yeah.
What was your first reaction to your mate coming into the room like he was? It was insane. He like there was so much blood. It was like plastic down his back. It was crazy.
I don't know. I just wake up like when you wake up way too fast and you don't know if you're still sleeping. Whoa, what the fuck? And he said, I've been stabbed, and I saw the blood and everything, and he ran back to the front where there was 2 guys waiting for him to take the moto and just go to the hospital as fast as they can. So, man, I was just, what the fuck could I do right now? So I just jumped in a taxi. I was with you. We wait like 1 minute, just, oh man, what the fuck just happened? And then just jump in the taxi, and I went there. I saw him. Oh man, at the hospital with those 2 drunk guys that gave him a lift to go.
The 2 motorcycle drivers were drunk. Jesus.
Oh man, it was like like you see those kind of hospital only in movies, you know, with blood everywhere and bad beds. Really. Oh,
yeah, it's
really
not like.
Can you give a brief description of what went on at the hospital?
Yeah, well, I went on the motorbike with the 2 guys that were working at the hospital. They just actually they got in the hostel 10 minutes before I did, and so they were like really drunk. But
cheers!
Thanks a lot. Gracias.
We're at an Italian coffee shop here in where is it? Balguey. Balguey's like a weird Italian like enclave. There's so many pizza restaurants and coffee shops and everything.
Yeah, so I just had my frozen coffee. You can have some if you want.
Oh, thank you.
So yeah, those 2 guys got back to the hostel like 5 minutes, 10 minutes before I did, and they were drunk, and they didn't get stabbed actually. That was my karma, I guess. And then they took me to the hospital. We had this insane bike drive, and then I went to the emergency, and they had me laid on on a bed that already was blood covered. And it was like a butchery.
that detail.
Yeah, and so they disinfect my wound and had me 2 stitches without any anesthesia. And had me I don't know how do you call that, what you put in a vein in your heart.
Yeah, they gave you saline because they didn't have any blood transfusions for you. They just put water in you.
Exactly. They gave me some water.
Insane.
And then after that I went to the radiography, and the 2 guys that were with me were helping me to move around. Guillaume arrived at that time, and at the radiography I almost fainted because I really lost a lot of blood. So everything was fine except that it was really painful. And the first night and the first day I couldn't move at all. I had to stay really straight.
Yeah.
But I did recover really quickly. Like today I climbed this volcano with both you guys. I wasn't in my top shape, but still enough to move around in the forest.
And I found it interesting that you found going up easy and then coming down, you must have engaged your back more because you're much slower coming down the hill.
Like you have to stop yourself at every step. It's not. It's harder than propulsing yourself. It's always harder to go down than to go up, I think.
And what's it like having your trip put on pause for some time? Because it could have been a lot longer than 5 days. That's for
and
sure.
the first day I was really worrying about that. And well, Guillaume and you stayed a couple of days with me in Granada. And I realized I was recovering pretty quickly, and I called a friend in Quebec as well, who's a nurse. I had him some photos of my wound, a brief description of the fact, and he told me how to care about it, how to clean it every day.
Of course, the other nurse in your life is your mum.
Yeah, I didn't tell her yet. I don't want her to worry. I can't say I'm really enthusiastic about the idea. I'll have to tell her. I do have to tell her, but I'm going to tell her when I get back to Quebec. I don't want her to die from worrying about it.
Certainly. But when you guys are famous musicians and you need a description for your Wikipedia page, make sure you link this podcast to the definitive recount of how you were backstabbed in Granada.
I will.
Yeah. So aside from all the crime that's happened this week, how's your trip been so far, Guillaume?
Oh, so pretty good. Yeah. It was really good. Just that thing was not so good, but all before was really, really so magical and everything, and all person we met was really nice. All the adventures we did, and everybody love really music. So when we start, we can do some magical thing happens.
Where did you start your trip?
I started in Salvador with my girlfriend. Yeah, we traveled together for a month from Salvador to Honduras, and then Francois came to Tegucigalpa, and we met together to continue the trip. So there we are, and we still got 10 days together. And then I'll be 10 more days by my own, and
So are you thinking of taking it slower now that the events that have happened have passed, or are we still just going to climb volcanoes every 3rd day? Or
we still have the biggest volcano of the island to climb. Well, by the way, we are on Ometitties Island, right in the middle of Nicaraguan island, and this island is formed by 2 huge volcanoes, and one that is really massive. And we climbed the smallest one, but apparently it's kind of the longest hike. But you Matt already climbed the other one as well.
Yeah, I've done both of Ometepe's titties, because the legend of this island is that it's one of the princesses of the indigenous tribes died here, and she fell on her back, and both the volcanoes are her, are her breasts. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I've conquered both the titties.
So that's a large woman,
very large, godlike, I would say. But given we're on Ometepe, what do you guys think of the canal?
The canal.
Oh man, I hope that it will never happen. Huh? It's gonna change everything around the island, and yeah, I don't know, man. Only the rich gonna get a good part of it and enjoy it. I mean, and it's gonna destroy everything, all the natural, the peacefully place it is now. I don't know. Just talking with, I don't know, maybe 10 different person, everybody's against it, and I don't know that could really bring a better life. I mean, like the cost of the life and everything, and the quality of life. I don't know if the canal could really increase it. I don't think so.
Yeah.
It's not going to bring anything to the people who live there, that's for sure.
Sí.
Gracias. Sí, lo vamos a tomar ya.
Muchas gracias.
Alright, well, we'll call quits to the podcast then, because we got our coffee here, but thank you for being such wonderful travel companions, guys, and for playing all the good music that will accompany this podcast.
Yeah, nice.
Un café negro, caliente.
Normal,
Hectic finish.
Sí, en 4 minutos está listo el café.
And that's it for yet another week. Make sure you check out the links to Francois and Guillaume's music projects in the links of the show. And if you enjoy the podcast, make sure you check out the Facebook page, because that is where I'm putting all the accompanying photos to this. And if you love what you're listening to, make sure you leave a review in iTunes, as that will really help us out. And tell the people around you, especially if they're coming down this way, as this is the definitive guide to South America. Next week, we're back in my home turf of Costa Rica, so stick around.